Hey there, welcome to Live by Design, a place where I hope you'll find content that is informative, inspiring, insightful, and won't bore you to tears. My name is Moati, and I'm a life strategist and a motivational speaker, and I'm happy to be here with you today. I'm being consistent this year. Of course, it's only February. We'll see how long this lasts. I'm joking. I'm joking. How are you? How's it going? How was your weekend? Hopefully your week is off to a great start. Mine is. I'm having a good time. Although yesterday, so today is, I think it's the 5th. Today's the 5th. So yesterday I spent most of my day editing a lecture, a talk that I produced for my online coaching group. And, listening to yourself, listening to your own voice for about 6 hours straight, which is actually what it ended up taking me. It took me that long. Not so fun. And they're like, oh, I don't know, I sound whiny here. Or, oh, I think, am I smacking? Like, what is that sound? Or you're too fast. It's a real exercise. It's a real test to be able to listen to my voice and do my work and not get caught up in my own head. And, excuse me, I did get up in there a little bit. And it did cause me to pause. And I said to myself, Moati, just get it done. You can do better next time. So hopefully there should be by this time have received the lecture and are listening to it, and hopefully nobody's looking at their phone or their device what is she talking about? She sounds crazy. Anyway, let me get serious for a second. So before I get into my topic today, I have a few announcements. As a reminder, I will be doing a one-woman show in the fall called An Evening with Moati Dubinga. It's going to be in Boston. Date and location, they have not been confirmed yet, but I'm putting it out there to the universe every time you see me as a reminder to you and as a reminder to myself about what I am doing this year. And I'm also co-hosting a retreat in the fall in Massachusetts with Shalumba Yanja Dubinga of Shape Up with Shalumba. More details on that to come soon. One more thing. As many of you may know, some of you may or may not know, one of my passions is dance, contemporary dance. And for the last 25 years, I've been working with two companies that are my heart, that I love. Origination Cultural Arts Center, founded by my sister, Shalumba, with the support of my other sister, Musa Dubinga, and has been running for 25 years with the support, crazy support from my brother, Kamanapata Dubinga, and the family. And we're celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. And Complexions Contemporary Ballet, founded by Dwight Rhoden and Desmond Richardson, also in 1994. There's not enough space, not enough time to talk about how fabulous this company is. I will encourage you, our benefit performance at the Joyce Theater. And I say our because I've been part of the company since the beginning, not as a dancer. I do the admin stuff. But it's just been a labor of love for 25 years and a challenge. I learned a lot about myself. A lot of the lessons that I share here with you, a great portion of those came from my relationship with the artistic directors and navigating that growth over the last 25 years while also just supporting this fabulous company. On Thursday, February 21st, is our gala performance at the Joyce Theater, and Desmond Richardson, one of the co-founders, co-artistic director, who has been described by the New York Times as one of the greatest modern dancers of his generation, of our time, is performing on that show only. So if you're interested, go to complexionsdance.org. You can get all that information about the performance, about the benefit. You can also email me here, hit me up down here, and check them out. They're spectacular, just to say the least. I can't say enough good things. Anything else? No, I think that's it for my announcements. So the topic I wanted to share with you today, my thoughts. The topic of this episode is, the less you do, the less you do. Pretty straightforward. The less you do, the less you do. I was watching on social media the other day. There's an actress named Jennifer Lewis, who I think is brilliant and hilarious. This woman she's an actress. She's on a show now called Blackish. She has been the guest on many, many movies, many, many television shows, including, Girlfriends. She's just a brilliant comedian. I think she's a brilliant actress. She's a social activist. And there was a picture of her at an awards ceremony, on the red carpet, and I can't remember which show it was. I don't know if it was the Academy Awards or, some award show. I don't watch those shows, so unless I know somebody performing, and so, I don't really pay attention to them. So I follow her on social media, on Instagram, and I suggest you follow her too, the real Jennifer Lewis. Hilarious. Anyway, so she was wearing Nike gear from head to toe. She wasn't wearing a gown. It was a fancy dinner. Was what an event. Wasn't wearing a gown. She had on a Nike jersey and some Nike leggings and some Nike sneakers because she was showing her support for Colin Kaepernick. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. By now we know, football star or football player rather, who took a knee rather than sing during the playing of the national anthem during the football games with the NFL, and has since been blacklisted. Anyway, that's not why I'm talking about this post though. And it might sound frivolous now that I think about it, because I'm over here going from talking about social justice issues and why Colin Kaepernick is taking a knee to why I really was impressed by this woman's Instagram post, because in her Instagram post, Jennifer Lewis does a full grand battement and almost hits her head. Now, I don't know how old she is. I know she's got to be in her 60s. She just had a birthday. And a grand battement, for those of you who are not dancers, it's just called grand big kick battement kick. So it's a big kick, right? Boom! Almost hit her head recently. And I just kept watching it over and over and over. I was like, girl, you better go ahead. And then I was watching it yesterday because somehow I think because the Super Bowl just passed, go New England Patriots, just happened. Somebody reposted it. She reposted it. And I was watching that, and I remember thinking to myself as I was watching it, back in the day, and whenever you start a sentence with back in the day, you know that you're going way, 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 way back. And I try not to go back too far, too often, because, some of that stuff was not very pleasant to remember, is not very pleasant to remember. However, back in the day, I used to be able to do, bees don't make no honey, I know. I used to be able to do a grand battement and hit almost to my ear from the side. We call it in second. So I could do a grand battement in second. And I never saw it. I never noticed it until we were taking a class. My sister Musa and I were taking class from Dwight and Desmond, who are now Complexions, back when they were with Ailey. And we were in Boston at a studio called Jeanette Neal Dance Studios years ago, like over 25 years ago. And we were going across the floor, and we had to do something. And, Dwight's choreography back then was, off the chain. I couldn't fathom doing what they do now, because back then it was crazy, but I digress. So we were going across the floor, and it was some combination. There were two things that happened. There was one combination, and we were just opening legs, I think just opening our hips. So we went across the floor, and I went to second, and I almost hit, the side of my ear. And my sister Musa pointed that out to me. She's like, oh, you almost hit your ear. And I was like, really? I didn't feel it. I didn't realize it. I didn't recognize it. I was very flexible back then. I was so caught up in the fact that we were taking this master class that I didn't pay attention. And then the second thing that happened is that we had to go across the floor again. We had to do this really complicated sort of turn that I didn't think I could get. And so I was just like, whatever. And I went and got off, the floor. And my sister was like, why you just did it? And I was like, really? But my point is my point in this whole thing, I know you're like, what's the point? Why to get to it? My point is that I was thinking, here's Jennifer Lewis in her 60s. And she can do a grand battement, almost hit her face. And here I am in my 50s, only 51. And while I used to be able to do a grand battement and almost hit my ear, it can't go past my shoulder now. And I know dancers who are my age or close to my age who can still hit that grand battement and get it up there and hit the step. And why are they able to do that? Is because they never stopped doing it. They never stopped doing it. When I was at that stage, when I was dancing, I was in a local professional company. I put that in air quotes, so don't try to Google me like, it was local. But I was in a dance, company. My sisters and I took dance class every day. And we were adults. We were in our 20s, mid-20s. We took dance class every day, didn't aspire, had no aspirations of being a professional dancer. I just loved to be in the room and to be in the space. So we would go, take these classes, then we'd come home and I'd, stretch while I'm watching TV or, all that type of thing. I did it. But then as the years went by, I did it less and less. And the less and less I did, the less and less I was able to do. And so now we got to the point now that I'm here 51, I'm in good health. Don't get me wrong. I'm grateful for my health. And I'm not trying to go back because, again, used to be's don't make no honey. So it's not about, lamenting that, oh, my God, I can't kick my leg up anymore. That's not what this is about. But it is an awareness, a reminder of that old adage we hear, that cliche. If you don't use it, you lose it. And the less you do, the less you do. For me, what that means is that you're on a slippery slope, right? When it comes to any skill, talent, or capacity that you have. Any skill, talent, or capacity that you have. If you are not constantly working to improve it, to refine it, to sharpen it, to elevate it, you eventually reach a plateau. And then when you reach a plateau and sort of stop in a world that's ever changing, you don't actually stand still, you go backwards. Right? Because the world is constantly turning. There's new technology, there's new information, there are new ways of living, there's new ways of speaking. And if you are in a business or even in a relationship or trying to bring about any success in any aspect of your life, you've got to be willing to continue to do more. Because the less you do, the less you do. The less I read now, like if I'm only reading 5 books a month now, let's say, then it becomes 4 books a month. Well, 3 books, 2. Next thing I know, I haven't read a book in a year and a half, whatever, right? Because what happens is, if we're not conscious, we allow ourselves to just sort of backpedal and stop. And then the effort that it took to do the minimum becomes too much to even do the minimum, and then we do less. And then the effort that it took for us to do that less becomes too much, and then we do less. So think about it. I know people who've retired. 2 different kinds of people. There's some people who retire and they're like, oh, I'm using this time. They're up, they're dressed, they're working out, they're eating good foods, they're traveling, they're connecting with friends, they're connecting with family, and then they end up just doing more and more and more and more. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to Alaska. True story. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to Alaska. Oh, we're going hiking. Oh, okay. Then there are those people who retire. Well, what are you, child? I just got out of bed. Oh, okay. You just getting out of bed now. It's 11. Last month you were just getting out of bed, it was 10. So that means that next month you get out of bed, it's probably going to be close to noon. What are you doing today? I might go to the store. I might go to the movies. I might. And then it becomes, I didn't feel like it. So the minimum that you do, because you say, what do they say? What a body in motion stays in motion, right? When you stop moving, it gets harder to move when you're ready to or you want to move, and then you just stop altogether. The less you do, the less you do. The less you do, the easier it becomes to just do less. And so when I was thinking about Jennifer Lewis and her Grand Bop Ma, I thought to myself, Wanda, you need to start stretching again. Now don't call me and don't bother me, because it's not like I'm trying to get the leg back. That thing might be gone forever, and I'm fine with that. At the same time, I know what the benefits are to regular consistent stretching. I'm a yoga teacher, so I know what the benefits are to that. I know what the benefits are to having, being flexible in my body. And I just want to challenge myself. How far can you go? I probably never will get the bottom back up to the ear, but I'm sure that by trying to get it back up to the ear, it won't go below the shoulder. The less you do, the less you do. The more you do, the more you do, right? That's the opposite side to that. So what I want to share with you, my thoughts for you, are when you look at your life, whatever aspect of your life you're looking at, right? Oftentimes when I talk about life, I talk about the 4 wheels. Those of you who've been to my workshops, you know what I mean by that. There are 4 wheels that keep the car of your life going forward. Your health and wellness, your finances, your relationships, and your career. Your spirit is the engine. When you look at the 4 wheels of your life, the different areas of your life, where have you stopped doing? Where are you doing less? In your relationship, are you saying, I love you to your partner, to your children, to your family, less and less and less? Because if you are, then you're going to do it less and less and less. In your career, when we first get jobs and we show up, we're on time. Well, most of us. We're on time, we are dressed, we're handling our business, we're taking on new assignments, we're showing initiative. And then as the months and the years, in this case with some people these days, the days go by, all that industriousness just goes down the drain. And the less they do, the less they do. Oh, I'm not going to do all that. Oh, that's not in my job description. No, child, they don't pay me enough to do that. Right? You were eager to get the job, and then when you got in there, you got comfortable, you started to do less. And the less you do, because it creates inertia in the mind. It creates inertia in the body. You become heavy. It becomes too heavy to move. It becomes too heavy to get out of bed. It becomes too heavy to start to move and change your behaviors and get back to the way you were. And so you just don't. And oftentimes, the less you do, you surround yourself other people who are also doing less gravitate towards you. So the idea, why am I sharing this with you, is because, we all want growth. We all want progress in any area of your life. What your success looks like is different, right? We all define that differently. But as human beings, studies show we all want growth because that's where the richness is in life. That's what makes us feel like we have value. And that's what inspires us to get up and get going. But if you allow yourself to get in that place and make it okay for you to do less and less and less, you're not going to grow. And in a world that's constantly growing, evolving, changing, transforming, you're going to be literally, even by virtue of standing still, you're going to be going backwards. So for me, what that means is getting up in the morning and getting dressed. Why? Because I've been an entrepreneur. I've worked for myself since 1999. So I don't have to get up and put on clothes and be all cute and stuff. I teach yoga. So for real, I can wear sweatpants and leggings all day, every day. And then what happens is when it's time for me to get up and get dressed and go meet somebody, whether it's in a romantic setting or a new proposal for a new business, the act of having to get dressed feels so laborious that sometimes, real talk, I'm tempted not to go anywhere. So I set an intention for myself last year. Yeah, last year. How long have I been doing this work? Over 16 years. Last year I set the intention, Mwadi, come on, girl. Get it together. You can't live in yoga leggings. It's okay if you do, but I can't in my business. And I know that I have to be out and have to present myself and have to meet with people and have to talk with people. And so if the idea of getting dressed and drags me down, and then let's say I finally do get dressed, I'm carrying that energy outside with me into the real world. So I set an intention that in those areas of my life where I know I've been doing less, I'm going to do more. What about you? As you survey and think about your life, your relationships, are you doing more in your relationships? Are you still giving that loving energy and attention and bringing that excitement and that newness into your romantic space as you were when y'all first met? Or now is it like, hey, what's up? You walking around with rollers, you walking around with, your sweatpants, sagging to the ground and not caring whether or not your partner finds you attractive or finds you interested. Are you doing less and less? And don't get me wrong, don't email me talking about, well, we can't walk around in heels and men can't walk around in suits all day. I'm not saying that, but I'm asking you, are you putting in the same amount of attention and time into your personal appearance, whatever that flavor was for you when you met your partner? Are you doing that now? If you're on the job, if you were all hyped and amped, you had your resume together, you got all dressed up for your interview, however you got into that workspace, are you still bringing that energy into that workspace, or are you doing less and less? When you had your baby 16 years ago or 17 years ago or 14 years ago, however old the child is, when they were young and they were cute and they were innocent and you were coo and loving all of them, are you still giving them that same amount of love and attention and energy and caring? Or are you giving them less and less? You get the idea, right? The less you do, the less you do. The more you do, the more you do, and the more you have. So if you want to bring about a change and a transformation in your life, bring real serious attention and awareness to the level of energy that you are exerting in any aspect of your life, and ask yourself, is there room for me to do more? Ask yourself, am I doing as much as I was doing in the beginning of whatever that endeavor is? Again, romantic, business, financial. When the newness and the excitement wears off, the energy tends to go down, the attention tends to go down, and then your results tend to go down in any aspect of your life. So now might be the time for renewal. Now might be the time for you to renew your wedding vows. You don't have to have a big ceremony to do that. You can get up in the morning and say, you know what? These were my vows. I'm recommitting to my relationship. This may be an opportunity for you to go to work and renew your vows that you made to your boss when they were just your prospective boss. I'm going to give my best. I'm going to do my all. Now might be the time when you look at your children and remember all the promises that you made to them and yourselves when they were a little sonogram. I'm going to love you. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to listen to you. And it might be the time now to renew that. The less you do, the less you do. But good news, the more you do, the more you do, the more you have. That's my message. So this week, what day is today? I think it's Tuesday. Now the challenge will be, can I edit this thing and get it up by the end of today? I'm going to do that because I think this is something I think it's important for us to hear at the beginning of the week. The less you do, the less you do. Set an intention, make a decision, that right now in this moment, you are going to look around in your life and find out, remind yourself of who and what your priorities are, and renew your commitment to them. And renew the commitment by saying out loud, maybe write it down, and maybe say it to them. This day going forward, I'm going to do more. This day going forward, I'm going to increase my energy. I'm going to expand my attention. I'm going to expand my intention. I'm going to give more. I'm going to love more. I'm going to show more. I'm going to be more. Because the less you do, the less you do. That's it. Hope this was helpful. Interesting. It's kind of interesting to me. I learned some things. I don't know about you. Joking. Anyway, that's it. If you have any questions, any thoughts that you want to share from this brief little message, please hit me up. You can put the messages below. You can also reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Still not doing that Snapchat business. Maybe one day. But in any event, that's all I have to share with you today. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week. As always, take care of yourself. Take care of the ones that you love. And I will see you soon. Bye.